I'm from Aotearoa, which is New Zealand, a little country next to Australia. No, we're not Australia, we are New Zealand, the little island.
Barbell Radio. Hello listeners, and thank you for listening to Barbell Radio. My name is Cannon. This week I bring you an English episode. It is an interview with a fellow powerlifter, Maui Makino. He is an outstanding athlete. He is a 2019 105 kilo weight class New Zealand national champion. And just to remind you, he's under 23, so he's still a junior lifter, having a humongous squat of 292.5 kilos. We'll get straight into the interview today. He's humble, he's young, he's passionate. Maui Makino. Here we go. Barbell Radio. Hello listeners, I'm very honored to announce a 105 kilo powerlifter from New Zealand, Maui Makino. Thank you for being on the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me, guys. This is the second time we've done this tape because the first time the audio from my behalf was really bad. So I've asked to do it again, so here I am.
No, thank you, because I'm very grateful that you're making the time to do this again. So thanks for that. So I think we're going to have a very powerlifting-based episode today. I'm curious to know a few things about your training and technique, so we'll have a discussion about that. And maybe some insights on what the lifting scene in New Zealand is like. Since I know you have some world champions like Brett Gibbs, the 2018 world champion in the 83 kilo class.
Yeah, sounds all good. Let's do it.
Okay. So for those that may not be aware of who you are, can you maybe give a self-introduction of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, no worries. Hey guys, so my name is Maui Makino Koopu. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Aotearoa, which is New Zealand, a little country next to Australia. No, we're not Australia, we are New Zealand, the little island to the right of New Zealand, Australia, sorry. So I'm half Japanese and half Māori, and I am a powerlifter, a 105 kg powerlifter, current national champion in the 105 kg class, and yeah.
Hey, and yeah, I know that you have a background of playing rugby before you got into powerlifting. Can you maybe explain that and maybe what made you want to make this transition from rugby to powerlifting?
Sure. So in high school, that's where I started training in the gym, from our high school gym. And my coach said, we should be training the squat, bench, deadlift, so the big three, and that will make our legs and upper body stronger. And that was what he used to say. So we were in there training hard for rugby, and then eventually the lifting got more enjoyable as the numbers went up, and went from playing rugby and lifting heavy in the gym to becoming a powerlifter. I first found out about powerlifting in 2018 when I did my first competition. So yeah. Fuck, they don't even answer that question properly. We need to take that again.
You're fine.
Bro, I butchered that hard.
No. You answered the question. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Okay. And how did your first meet go? What were the numbers like? What are the numbers like now? Like your PBs?
Yeah. So my first meet was in, like I said, 2018. I believe that was February 2018, and the numbers were pretty good just because prior to doing this meet, I have been lifting heavy in the gym, not as a powerlifter, but as a bro lifter. So my squat at that meet was 245 kilos, my bench was 150 kilos, and my deadlift was 250 kilos, I think. A total of 650 kilos. So that was for my novice meet. And yeah, after that comp, I caught the bug, so enjoyed it.
And then now, what were your results from the national meet?
Yeah, so from nationals, I did 292.5 kilo squat, 182.5 kilo squat, Bench. Sorry, 182.5 kilo bench and a 290 kilo deadlift for 765 kilo total to take out the 105 kg open class.
And you are still a junior as well, right?
Yeah, so this is currently my last year as a junior, but it's not going to plan so far because of what the pandemic going around the world. It's sort of killing my plans for worlds and other competitions that I would like to do. But, you know, it is what it is, and we've just got to move on and live with it.
Yeah, how is the situation going? You know, since you got all these big numbers, how are you doing to maintain these numbers during quarantine?
So luckily we were able to get some equipment from our local gym, Bodycore, thanks to Craig and Muzz for looking after us. So we got a few calibrated plates. Also, me and my brother, we quickly went down to Number One Fitness and got a squat rack and a bench press so we can continue doing our big 3 lift, you know. So we were able to train right through this global pandemic, and we find out tomorrow, which is a Monday, if we are going to go back to level 2. So hopefully by Wednesday we're all back in the gym, back to our normal routines. So yeah,
you are pretty much like training as usual, right?
Yeah, so we're pretty much we've trained right through. The only things we haven't really been able to do are the accessories, you know, like leg machines or small accessories, but you know, we're powerlifters, so as long as we're doing the big 3 at the end of the day, we're happy.
Yeah, and I think that's like a very lucky of you guys, you know, as a country, because in Japan we definitely don't get to do that. We really can't borrow equipment from gyms. That's like very unusual. I mean, it's very hard, you know. We're a small country, we have a lot of members in the gym, and also we all don't have access to cars, so we're gonna have to like carry the equipment on the trains and stuff. So I think it's like awesome that you guys get to do that. Okay, so I realized with your numbers, your deadlift is usually bigger than your squat. That's like, I feel like that's the norm in athletes, but you have very similar numbers in your squat and deadlift. How would you explain this?
So I've always just been a better squatter, and I've got to say my deadlift is just shocking compared to my squat. Number-wise, in competition, I've actually never deadlifted more than my squat. My squat has always been higher than my deadlift. So I don't know. It's just that I enjoy squatting so much that, you know, my deadlift is nowhere to be seen.
Do you think like it has something to do with like the frequency? Like because you like the squat so much that you train the squat more? And is that why you're stronger? Or do you think like you're more like quad dominant or stuff like that?
I don't know. I think being Japanese, we're really gifted. We've got the perfect body to be able to bench and squat. So I think with my squat, I can handle the squat volume and squat intensity each week. I only deadlift once a week because I can't handle it. And, you know, quite frankly, I'm not that good at deadlifting. So, you know, I just try to have one perfect session a week and then I'm happy with that.
Yeah. But it's not like you have short legs or anything, right?
Well, it's relatively, not that, but it's just that, you know, squatting, like a lot of, you know, Japanese people are good at squatting, even if they're not powerlifters. You know, you see them on the side of the street always crouching down. So we're sort of used to going into that position all the time.
Right.
And I don't know, I think we're just really gifted when it comes to the squat and bench.
Yeah. I can agree to that, especially the bench as well. We have some very crazy.
Oh man. The Japanese have the craziest bench presses in the world.
Yeah, and we call it like the Japanese grip and the
that's insane.
Stuff like that. Yeah, very very technical. Yeah,
of course they are. They're technical with everything. I remember, you know, just being in Japan playing rugby. We were doing the scrums, and they were so technical. They'd break everything down like one by one, and it was just so insane. Like, you know. It's such a technical country. They do everything to the book.
Yeah.
Their standards are very high.
Yeah. Do you think that's like good for powerlifting, for you to have like a very, very, what is it? How do you say komakai? Like a specific, I don't know, for you to like plan out everything.
I know what you mean. I think yes, like cues, like, you know, you've got to have a routine, and you've got to, you know, try to do things as perfect as possible. But one thing is, when you're going into a competition and you're lifting at 100%, trying to get your 1 rep max, everything's not always going to go to plan. Your form is never always going to be the same. So you've just got to adjust to it. You know what I mean? Like when I'm deadlifting, there's no way I'm going to pull close to 300 kilos with a straight back. You know what I mean? And my hip, like nothing's going to be perfect. And you've got to just take what you can get on the day, I guess, and hope for the best.
I just find it very interesting that the approach to the lifting is very different within the country, because that really does show our culture as well, like our style of lifting.
Yeah.
And it kind of like reminds me of like, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but like the Russell Ohi and Sean Noriega's like techniques, like the approach, because I feel like Russell's lifting style is like very based on like raw strength, but like Sean Noriega's, you know, like the squat and everything that he does is very, very, very technical. So I feel like
Sean is so technical. You know, same with Owen Hubbard when it comes to the bench. Sean and Owen, you know, they've got a specific routine they go through, you know. Their arch has to be perfect, everything. It's probably one of their most technical lifts, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they get one thing wrong, I'm assuming, you know, they might not get that lift.
Yeah.
Whereas, Russ is quite gifted, you know. You look at his body and size and you're like, wow, for an 83 kilo lifter, he's just got raw strength. Like, I watched a video a couple of weeks ago where he does sumo deadlift at 300 kilos, and that's not even his main style of lifting.
Yeah.
And no technique at all, and he just pulls 300 like nothing. So Russ is really gifted when it just comes to raw strength.
Yeah. Do you think that's like very similar to how the New Zealand powerlifting scene is like the attitude?
Yeah, I think it's 50-50. We do have lifters here in New Zealand that are very technical lifters. So when it comes to doing their 3 lift, you know, they've got a specific routine that they've got to follow, and, you know, their techniques. Whereas there are some lifters that I know are pretty casual, you know, your flat back, your casual deadlift, you know, just takes it like a YOLO, YOLO attempt into everything. I don't know. You know, I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, how is your approach to like competitions and stuff? Like, what is your mindset towards lifting?
So my mindset, you know, I'm just hyped every time I go into a competition.
Yeah.
I don't know. People don't believe it, but I sort of do. You know, hype does increase your lifts. You know, it's sort of like a live or die moment for me. You know, I've got to get this to keep living. That's the sort of mind approach I take into a comp. So, you know, you've got to get this lift or you're going to die, sort of thing. It's pretty extreme, but that mentality and a bit of hype, you know, gets me going, especially when it comes to the deadlift. You know, coming into training, I'll be doing like maybe a 270 for my last like heavy deadlift session, and then I'll come into comp and try to pull 20 to 30 kilos more than what I did in training, you know. And I've had a conversation, obviously you're going to have a deload week, so your body will be rested up, but even with that, you know, how are you going to increase 20 to 30 kilos? It's mentality, your mindset, the hype. You just got to bring it and put a show on the platform, and that's what I rely on pretty much with all my lifts.
Yeah, because I feel like I can totally agree with you. Like when I am under the bar, I feel very, very present. Like if I can't get this right, like then I'm gonna die kind of attitude. And that is also why I enjoy powerlifting as well. So that must be why as well for you. Also, have you always been in the 105 kilo class?
Yep. So pretty much ever since my first competition, except the novice comp, I was 108 kilos, which is a 120 class. But at the time, I had no idea about weight classes. But after that, the coach that I had at the time said, you know, you can cut 3 kilos and you'll be a good 105er. So ever since that day, I've stuck in the 105. You know, I joke with my friends and always say, you know, I'm going to come down to the 93s and that. You know, that'll never happen. That will never happen.
Really?
I think I'll be. And then I've got other mates that are saying, you know, oh, you should be in the 120s and all that. But I don't know. I feel like 105 is where it's at.
weight class for you. What are you like walking around in? So what do you weigh right now?
Oh, I just weighed myself before. I weighed a 108.8, so I usually float 3 kilos to 5 kilos above my competition weight. But obviously with this lockdown going on, it's tend to be the high end, which is 110 kilos, just with the enormous amount of eating I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I can't help it. I think everyone's on the same boat when it comes to that. Their eating's just gone out the door because, you know, we can't do anything but stay at home. So
yeah,
what do you do when you've got to stay at home? Just eat.
Yeah, definitely. And when I get bored, I eat as well. So you don't really have to water cut or anything? Or do you just have to slightly adjust until the meet? Or do you have to do like a water cut?
So in previous competitions, yeah, I have relied on water cuts. Also, adjusting my diet as well coming in. So we'll change the amount of food I eat coming into the competition, but still making sure that we get the right amount of carbs and nutrients coming into my body. But yeah, I do rely on the water cut, but that is what it is. A lot of people do it.
You like it?
Oh man, drinking close to 6 to 10 liters of water for a whole week straight, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you get to that like last couple of days, you're like, what am I doing? I'm drinking 10 liters of water, barely eating. I've got to go to the toilet all the time. Sometimes it makes you wonder why I'm doing it, but once you've done it a few times, you're just like, oh, this is the new normal. You know what you've got to do. This is the only way. I'm not a big fan of saunas. So I've done it one time where I had to make weight for bench nationals, which was last year. So I did a water cut, but I was working as well. So it's hard to do a water cut and work at the same time because the job I'm at, you can't really use the toilet every 30 minutes. You can only go once every 2 hours or something. So it really threw my water cut off. So I had to just go to the saunas for 2 hours before comp or something. And man, that affected my competition big time, and ended up missing my last attempt. Yeah, so I don't know. I was just really hot and my cheeks were like swollen. Like I just felt really red in the head. And yeah, I don't know. It was probably because it was a real last minute thing.
How much did you drop with that?
I only needed to lose probably 700 grams. But still, for me, I'm not used to being in the sauna for so long. I was in there. Well, I was at the pools for about 2 hours, but just kept going on and off because it got too hot. I couldn't be in there for any longer than probably 5-6 minutes. I had to come out, so it was quite hard.
Like saunas really make you tired because you're literally raising your heart rate as well, and that
makes me want to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it must be that could have been the reason why. Also, it could have been the fatigue thing. So bringing the question back a little bit, you said that you changed from rugby to powerlifting, but rugby is like it's kind of like a different sport. Like it's like a team sport, and powerlifting is quite opposite of that. And was the transition in your mindset was that a hard thing to make when you went from rugby to powerlifting?
For me, it wasn't. As soon as I started powerlifting and I found out what it was about, leaving rugby wasn't as bad because, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people will debate this, I believe powerlifting is still a team sport because when you go to a world event, you're in a team. You're in Team New Zealand, Your points all add up. And at the end of the competition, you see what New Zealand, your team gets placed. Same with Canterbury, you're in a Canterbury team going into nationals. And then the people around you, you sort of lift in that team environment sort of thing. So in that perspective, I think it's a team sport. But yeah, obviously, you as an individual is lifting on the platform, and what you do is what place you get, and not really the team. But I believe it's still got that similar vibe, and that's what I liked about it. So moving from rugby, where it's a team sport, into powerlifting, I still felt like we had that same environment. So it wasn't like a massive, oh no, I'm going to be in a sport by myself with no one around me. I've met a lot of people around New Zealand through powerlifting, and so I'm always grateful for the opportunities I've had, It's good.
And it must be very, very comforting to have a good team like yours. Like, it seems like you have a very nice team.
Yeah, it's cool. So I'm in precise powerlifting. Oh my God, I butchered that. You're going to have to delete that bit. Oh no, it's sorry, I said it right from the start. So the team I'm part of at the moment is Precise Powerlifting Systems, PPS. Okay. So that's the team I'm part of. So, you know, I'm grateful. The guys there at North Shore Barbell, they're awesome. I'm so happy to be a part of that team. We've got a good culture, good vibes, and, you know, we've got other teams around. You know, I'd class a gym as a team in a way. You know, you're always lifting with the same people. So every time I go to Bodycore, I feel like that's my team as well. We always share the platform. We always go to each other's competitions, support each other. You know, we're there for one another, and it's like a second family. So you can't go wrong with that at all.
Because in Japan, each gym has its own team. So you could have, like, for example, in Tokyo, we do have like TXB, which is a gym, and they have their own team. No Limits in Tokyo, they have their own team, and that doesn't work like that in New Zealand. Like, people from different gyms join a team, right? Is that that's what it sounds like to me? Yeah.
So in New Zealand, it doesn't really quite work like gym by gym. It works more like region by region. So if you're in the Canterbury region, then you're technically a team, and your points all add up and see who is the strongest region at nationals. That's how it sort of works. But we don't really, when it comes to nationals, we don't really do it like that. Okay. We just go off by an individual sport. So, like, you know, I watched the APU stream, and they would always promote it by team. So it'll be like, what would you call it? Queensland versus New South Wales, and they'd show their totals all added up at the live stream. But in New Zealand, we don't really go, oh, Canterbury has this many points.
Right.
Auckland has this many points. Waikato has this many points. We don't really do it like that. We just go, here's your 105 champion. Here's your medal. Thank you for coming, sort of thing. But it would be cool if we started promoting that sort of like team vibe, you know, started going, Canterbury is the strongest region, and New Zealand, that sort of thing. It's cool. It's bragging rights.
Yeah. How many teams would you say you guys have in the country? Like, a lot?
So we've got associations. So we've got Southern Powerlifting, Canterbury Powerlifting, which is us. We have Central and Wellington Powerlifting, Waikato Powerlifting, and Auckland Powerlifting. So we've got five teams, if you'd call them.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they battle it out to become.
Yeah, that is very different to how we do it. So it's interesting.
Yeah, because I remember seeing you guys go off like gyms, which is pretty cool. Represent your gym.
Yeah, but then, like, people who don't belong in a gym, like, for example, Anytime Fitness, people who go there to train, you know, because you can still do powerlifting there. And I train at my school gym, and you can kind of like compete individual. Like, you don't belong in a team as well.
You don't have to be in a team.
Yeah. So there's that way of can you do that as well in New Zealand, or do you have to?
We've got to be associated to a region. So which is, I'm part of CPA, Canterbury Powerlifting Association. So that's my team. But then, like, if I wanted to, like, expand my team, it'll be like Bodycore, my gym.
Oh, okay.
You know, I can't represent that at an IPF competition. I would have to represent my region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So let's move into some of your training questions. I follow you on Instagram, and I have a few questions for you that I wanted to ask about. And the first one is, let's go squat, bench, deadlift. So the first one is your squat. And I don't know if it's just the videos that I've seen, but I see that you squat very, very deep. Like, and, you know, a lot of lifters, when the weight gets to a maximum weight, they obviously start cutting depth. It's either because, it's like a mental thing, or you can lift more and stuff like that. But I feel like you squat deep. If it's light, if it's heavy, how many reps, like a lot of reps. Like, why do you do that?
I'm not too sure. But when I first started training, I think I'd just always sink it and hope for the best and let my momentum, create speed out of the hole. So I don't know. It could be that ever since I started training, I'd just try to go fast down and then hopefully catch the bounce and then just spring back up,
Right.
And that's how I've always done it. And my coach backs me on that. try to get a bit of speed, just send it coming down with control if you can, and spring up as fast as you can, I guess. I don't know what else to say. It's just that's how I've always done it when I was pro gymming. But what does help with it as well is that I squat in flats, and so that means I can really sink back and push my hips down, and then just spring load it up. So I've always done it.
And even during your competition videos when it's like super heavy, I feel like you are very, very good at maintaining a very clean form as well. So
I try to do my best. Sometimes I have folded and I've shot out of position before where I couldn't get my lift back up. So what I try to do is I always try look straight, keep my chest strong and put chest position high, and take a big breath before I squat down, hold it there for a little bit, and then sink it with control, and then hope for the best, and then come out the hole. And this is one fact that I have is I have never missed a squat in competition.
Damn.
So it's obviously working.
Yeah. And I'm just curious to know, like you just said, before you do the lift, you hold your breath, right, for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Is that like a technique thing as well?
It's just a habit that I've picked up. For me, the key thing there is just to make sure the bar's steady in that, so I don't rush the squat. So generally, when the ref goes squat, that's when I'll take the big breath. I'll hold it there for about a couple of seconds, make sure the bar's not moving around, make sure I'm all locked up, make sure my core's tight and bracing against the belt. When that's all done, I'll take the descent. I don't know how people rush the squat and go straight away, because you've got to really take your time, and squat's one of those lifts where you've got to respect the weight on the bar. Well, you've got to respect the weight on the bar on any lifts, but for me, this is Ray Williams' quote, is that if you don't have a good squat day, you're not going to have a good 3 lift meet at all. So I always when it comes to powerlifting, I always take my squats serious, because that is what sets the competition from your squats.
Definitely. And that makes me think, like, I know this is a little bit off the question, but you said that you're very, very hype when you lift, but what is also something that you really have to focus on? And I feel like sometimes with a lot of lifters, when they're hype, they tend to get off, like not go with the technique. They tend to forget a lot of things. Like, where is your mindset? Like, what is like your mindset building up from squat, bench, and then deadlift?
Yeah. So when I show hype, it's mainly in my deadlifts. So my last lifts, that's where I tend to show a bit more hype. Obviously, when I do my squat, the first attempt, I'm not going to come out there and go, oh, this is, do or die sort of thing. I do have that in the back of my mind. Like, I've got to get all these 3 squats, to stay in the game. But mentally, I'm switched on. I'm focused. Like, this is it. And my body is shaking, ready to go. So squats, I'm probably about, I'd like to say 60-70% hype. But obviously, the other 30%, like, really concentrate. Technique, get your cues correct. All of that's going in my mind. But when it comes to the deadlift, it's more like 90% hype, 10%. Oh my God, try and do your form, but the hype just takes over. Like, there's no form whatsoever. It's just lift the weight, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you like listen to music while you compete as well?
So I try to. I listen to music, just to try stay focused in the head and that, and not worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And to try, like, calm down a bit, just get some music going. But the last, unofficial comp I did, which was the New Zealand invite, which doesn't count at all. We didn't really listen to, like, no one really had their headphones on. We were all just phones off, encouraging one another. So that was a different vibe. Usually I do have my headphones on, but I enjoyed that sort of vibe. So coming into the next comp, I don't know if I'll have headphones on. I think I'm enjoying the vibe, like, seeing everyone else, talking to them. And, that worked for me.
Oh, that's awesome, because I'm not a lifter that can do that. Like, I feel like if anyone talks to me, then I get way too distracted, and then I start thinking, maybe because I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but maybe because I'm a female. and I tend to overthink a lot of things. But yeah, it doesn't, I guess it works differently for other people. And controlling your emotions during your competition, like, because it's not always 100%, right? Like you said, it goes up, down. Yeah. Bench is more, it must be technical as well for you even. And like controlling your emotions is very important, right?
Yeah, so for me, bench is probably the one lift I don't want to have too much hype on, because out of all three lifts, that's probably the most technical, you know. If I don't get the right descent on the bench or the right angles or the right position, that's I'm not going to get the bench at all. So I think a lot of people are the same, you know. You've got to get that technique right down. You know, it's not like I've got a massive arch or anything, but, you know, if my body position's not in the right area, or, you know, my bar path doesn't go the right way, then that lift is not going up, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've really got to focus. And that, I mean, but in general, when it comes to the bench, I'm not going out there going, yeah, this is it, you know? This is, I've got to get it sort of thing. I'm more focused. In general, it's just a deadlift when it comes to 90% of the height.
Yeah, that's true. And surprise question, what is your favorite song when you lift?
Put me on the spot like that. Well, what did I listen to? Well, the last comp I did, I put on Jack Harlow, What's Popping, because at the time that's what was popping off, and that was a wavy song. But a lot of people that know me and have trained with me in the past know that I love Drake. So I just listen to Drake just because
even I know,
like, emotionally. Yeah, I can. It's almost like, you know, you can sort of. It's not like, oh, you know, you can relate to his music and sort of.
Yeah.
Some of it's depressing, I'm not gonna lie, but, you know, me and my brother especially, we love that shit. So I remember back in the day, it's a funny story. We used to train at a gym when we first started called Atlas, and a lot of them like rock music and that, and I've got nothing against that. That's cool, but I wasn't even a bar of it, so I'd always change it to Drake, and they'll be like, oh no, turn this off, it's so depressing. You know, we like that hardcore rock stuff, and I was like, oh no. But I don't know. One thing I have learned though is don't get too picky, because when it comes to competition, you don't know what song could be coming on. So you've got to lift to a song that could be, you know, a love song or a rock song or something. So, so my training now, I've tried to mix the genre up. So then, say if a rock song comes on that I don't like, which has happened at nationals, you know, I can get used to it and go, oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely important to adjust to your competition environment, because that could really change the game. But like, I think the people around you have like this image of Drake being super gay and like super emotional, but that's what his music used to be like, right? But then now it's like,
he's coming out of some good music now. Like, he's bringing the heat. But another person I want to mention quickly before we go to the next topic. It's Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know, he started it for me. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's a rat, you know, we don't like his music. But, man, some of his song is pretty, like, hardcore and hype. You know? It's like a bit of rock and a bit of, like, rap combined together. Like, his song Gummo or something and Billy, oh, my God, they go hard. You know? But those sort of music I'll put on my headphones and listen to, not play out loud, because it's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, awesome. There's some good recommendations for the listeners. And okay, so let's move on to your bench. And your bench arch is very, last time I said non-existent and you got really offended.
Man, there's a bit of daylight coming through. Come on. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Is it because, do you not arch because you can't, or is it because you choose not to arch?
I can't arch. That's plain and simple. But it's not that I mean, if I learned it and gave it a go, yes, I probably would be able to. But the reason why I don't really want to change too much at this stage is because obviously it was my last year juniors, and like my benching flat is pretty much going well for me. So there was no need to drastically change my form and position. You know what I mean? Because it's going well so far. And another thing is that I think I've always just benched with a flat back. You know, ever since I joined the gym to get big for rugby. When your rugby coach ain't going to tell you, oh, you need a massive arch, you know, pull your shoulders back. They're just going to tell you to get on the bench and bench as heavy as possible. So, and I think a lot of New Zealanders that, you know, your bro lifters are going to do that. There's no way, unless you're a power lifter, you're not going to go so technical on it. And I think that's how I picked up, and I got good at benching with a flat back. So I've always just done it, you know, and I've tried to apply the arch, but it just never works out.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if you were like able to arch to decrease like the range of motion, do you think like you can lift more with that form?
I don't know. I've never arched, so I can't answer that question. Yes, probably, or maybe not. I don't know. But you know, I'm trying to hit 200 kilo bench with the flat back, and if I can do that, I'll be pretty happy. But also another thing would be like, you know, you get roasted with a massive arch on social media. You know, you look at Sean Noriega, he gets in the comments all the time, you know, like, that's not a bench.
Yeah.
That's a cheater bench and all that. So, you know, I just rather do it with a flat back and make everyone happy.
Yeah, that's true. That's one way to think about it. Also, with your shoes during the bench, like I recognize that you do the squat, bench, and deadlift in flat shoes. Like, why do you not use a heel for bench? Because people prefer doing that.
Yeah, I've had a conversation with a lot of people that, you know, you should bench with heels, but I don't know. I think same again. Back when I used to train as a bro lifter, I've always just had flat shoes, you know. Putting heel, I have tried with heels, and it's just really awkward for me. I'm not used to it. You know, if I was to go to a different federation, you can just put your heels up. So I'd just have flat shoes with heels up, you know.
Yeah.
But we're not, so I don't know. I don't think
and it's probably easy to carry around just one shoe. Do you only use one shoe, right?
So I use two. So I squat in Jordan 1s, and I deadlift and bench in Notorious Slippers, man. Those slippers are game changers.
Oh, really?
They are worth it. They are worth it. And I think a lot of Japanese lifters use them too. I've seen a lot of Instagram, you know, lifters with the Notorious, and it's pretty famous worldwide, you know. A lot of New Zealand lifters use them as well. So,
I just didn't know if it was worth the hype, you know.
The hype. Oh, let me tell you, the first pair that I bought, I had to buy it within, let's say, 5 minutes of it coming out, because a lot of people wanted them.
Yeah.
It's like trying to buy Supreme or Bait. You know, you've got to be on the computer ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to miss out.
But then after all, they're pretty much like socks, right?
They look like socks?
Yeah, they're like, I don't, like, just by looking at them online, like, I don't.
They're like stealthy. It's cool.
But I guess it works, you know. Yeah,
it works. It's good. It's got double straps, so it's nice and tight. The old slippers I used to did and bench on was A7s, but they only had the one strap, and they were quite tiny and like floppy, so they weren't as good. The Notorious slippers are quite heavy duty, and plus same with the sole underneath. The what do you call it? The rubber bit is quite dense and like nice and tight, so you're not going to slip at all. So they are good.
Okay. Well, so for those who may be looking for deadlift shoes, check them out. How much are they?
I think $40 US. Yeah. I'm not sure how much it is. I think for New Zealand, that was maybe I'd like to say $25 shipping US as well. So I think I paid around $80 to $100 for a pair, which is expensive for a pair of slippers. But I mean, if you're all about the hype and you want the best, you know, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, I can see with your t-shirt, you got a Zoo Culture t-shirt on as well.
Zoo Culture, Bradley Martin, raw gear. I don't know. I like these shoes. They look so good.
They do. It really does suit you. Okay, so let's move on to the next question about your deadlifts. Have you ever pulled sumo?
Good question, and I remember you asking me this last time.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. And the max I've ever pulled on sumo was 220, and then I tweaked my back, and I've never pulled it again since. Because first of all, I don't even know what I was thinking, but I think I had that moment in powerlifting where I was like, oh, conventional's not working for me. I have to do sumo. And I think I was such a newbie at the time. I was like, oh yeah, let's just change because it's not going to affect me at all. Got to 220, done my back. I was out for about a couple months, and it was after that I was like, nah, sticking to conventional.
God,
we'll leave it at
220
that.
On your first pull? That's a lot.
It's not my first pull. You know, I trained, you know, maybe a month worth of sumos, obviously. And then I was like, oh, let's just mix it out for fun. Shouldn't have done that. Went way off program, and that's probably why I don't really like going off program these days, you know. But at the time, I was a beginner. I was a newbie, so you know, I didn't know what's right and what was wrong.
Yeah. No, and you know, sumo is a very, very technical lift, so it's a completely different story. Like,
it's a very technical lift, so I need that hype. So when it comes to deadlifting, you just pull conventional because you can probably YOLO the lift way more than sumo YOLOs.
Yeah, for sure. And Japanese lifters, you probably wouldn't be surprised, but like with the technicality and stuff, I think like 80% or even more people pull sumo. And I know that's a bit different for you, New Zealanders. Like you guys like mainly 50-50 or something?
50-50. I'd say it's around 50-50, you know. Like a lot of people pull conventional, but then you've got the... I'd like to say like mid-weight and lightweights would pull sumo more than your heavyweights. And obviously, like New Zealand in general are larger people than Japanese people. So you'll have a lot of people in the mid-range to lighter weight classes. So that's why they're probably pulling sumo more. Whereas if you get to the big weights, you probably won't see the super heavyweights in New Zealand pull sumo at all. They'll all be pulling conventional.
Yeah, okay. And conventional obviously works a lot better for you as well. Yeah.
It requires less technique.
And also, you've never had, like you said, you don't pull with a completely straight back, right?
No,
like,
so my back's rounded.
Yeah, is that like a technique thing for you?
I don't know. Like with all my other lifts, when I first got into the gym deadlifting, we weren't really taught the technique from my rugby coach. It was more like, here's the weight, try have a straight back. If you can't, just pull it. And I think that was before I got a powerlifting coach, that was the mindset. It was just load the weight, lift it, you lift it, bang, you've got the weight, you know, you got that number. But ever since I, you know, got my powerlifting coach, you know, they'd tell you, oh, try do this, change this up, and then you sort of do your best, but it's not always going to go to plan. Like, I remember hearing, I can't remember what video it was, but I watched that, and one guy said, you know, when you're pulling it at close to 90 to 100% of your max, don't expect your back to be 100% flat, because that's never going to happen, you know. Your technique can always go out the door because of the weight. It's going to be heavy, so you've got to expect a bit of rounding, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that's true. Just
to, like, not promote the wrong information, the rounding of your back is mainly thoracic rounding, right? So it's not like a lower back.
So it's my upper back. My upper back's round, nice and tight, and then as long as my lower back doesn't round, that should be fine.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, completely. It's a different story, right? Like rounding your back and lower back. Yeah. Okay, so give me a few accessories. Your favorite accessories in the squat, bench, and deadlift.
My favorite accessories. So during this lockdown, I've started doing shoulder press, which I never used to do, barbell shoulder press, and that's actually working really well, and I've been enjoying that. So for my upper body, I think that and bent over rows with dumbbells or barbell, that's really helping me grow my back. For squats and lower body, I like doing RDLs. Or one thing I've been missing in the gym is a vertical leg press. So, you know, you lie down vertically and you press up. So that's always fun. So I miss that. Those are the sort of accessories I do. I don't really go hard out into accessories because, you know, as powerlifters, we just like doing the squat, bench, deadlift.
Yeah. How much time do you spend doing accessories?
How much time? I'd probably spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes doing accessories, you know, because my main squat sessions or bench or deadlift take maybe an hour to an hour and a half, you know. So I'm usually in the gym, depending on a quick day, it could be hour and a half to 2.5 hours in the gym.
That's fair enough. So let's move into some of. Sorry if this feels really rushed.
You're all right. Yeah. Wait, this is our second time doing it. That's all good.
We're almost like an hour in.
What?
Yeah. So let's get into some of the New Zealand powerlifting scene, because
I forgot about that.
A lot of listeners would like to hear about that. What are some of the powerlifting gyms around where you live? You live in Christchurch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I live in Christchurch, which is the South Island of New Zealand, which is down in the south. So we have 4 powerlifting gyms, alphabetical order. It'll be Atlas Powerlifting Gym, Body Core Gym, Canterbury, CSPC, Canterbury Sports Performance Centre, and we have Unbreakable Training Centre. So those are your 4 main, I'd say, powerlifting gyms around Christchurch. There's not that many, but we do have a lot of commercial gyms, like your City Fitness, Anytime Fitness. But if you're a hardcore dedicated powerlifter, you'll be at one of those 4 gyms.
Okay.
Personally, I go to Body Core Gym, which is a mixture of powerlifting, strongman, weightlifting, CrossFit, bodybuilding. We're an all-round diverse gym, so we support everyone, and that's what I like about that gym, and that's why I chose it.
Yeah, and I feel in a lot of your Instagram videos, some of your gym members are very, very hyped, right? They're all hyping you up, yelling in your ear and stuff like that. That's probably a very New Zealand thing to do as well. Yeah,
the community is great, and that's why I said we're pretty much a team. The same guys are there each day, and we're all supporting each other, especially Saturdays, because not many people are working, so we're all in there from 10 a.m. onwards. And the big boys, they do a squat session, and when they're lifting heavy, everyone stops, everyone watches and just supports and yelling, and it's insane. The atmosphere is almost like competition standards, but you're just training in the gym. So it's so cool.
Yeah, because in Japan, that happens less. I mean, in competition, people yell at each other and stuff like that, but during training, it's very quiet.
Yeah. I could sort of understand,
Totally
we're out here in New Zealand, little old New Zealand, and we're just doing our own thing, I guess, create our own culture and our own vibes in the gym, so it's pretty cool.
And it really does help you with your lift as well, people cheering you on and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you already mentioned a little bit about it, but how many powerlifting federation does New Zealand have?
So off the top of my head, we have 4 powerlifting federations. We have New Zealand Powerlifting Federation, which is the biggest powerlifting fed we have in New Zealand. Then we have GPC, which is the non-drug tested federation.
Okay.
We have World Powerlifting, which is another untested powerlifting federation, which is sort of like the rival.
Untested?
Tested. So it's World Powerlifting. So they're like the rivals of New Zealand powerlifting, I guess.
Okay.
And then there's IPL, I believe, but not many people are aware what that is.
Okay. And what is IPF? The Worlds. How do you qualify for Worlds?
So to qualify for Worlds, you have to be registered for New Zealand Powerlifting Federation and an association to your region. And then you have to, first of all, you have to do a regional competition to qualify for nationals. And if you qualify for nationals and you pretty much win nationals, you have the right to be the first choice going to Worlds.
Okay.
But as long as you have met the criteria of the total, then you are the first choice and no one else can. And then if the first place getter doesn't want to go, then it drops down to second, third, so on and that. But usually New Zealand never really takes a full team, so you'll probably get in. But the IPF have a rule that you can only take 2 lifters in one weight class per country. So, if there were 2 105s already going to Worlds and Open, then you can't have a third person. But the teams aren't always maxed out, so, you might get 2 in the 105s and 2 in the 83s,
Yeah.
There might not be anyone in the 74s going. So, unless it's a local international comp, which we are going to host next year in New Zealand, Auckland, which will be the Commonwealth, most likely there'll be a full team going in New Zealand because it's just local.
Wow, it's such a shame that this whole virus thing, right? Because if you were to compete in World Juniors Classic,
yeah,
what maybe who would be like your rivals?
Are
you like pretty close? Are you close like around?
Well, the two juniors last year, and one of the Russians will probably come back if he wants to. He got like a 867 kilo total.
Oh damn!
My goal this year is to get above 800 kilo total, and that's what I really want. But I did see the nominations did come out prior to the COVID-19, and I saw a few lifters on there, and a lot of them were floating between 780 to 800, so they were on there, and that wasn't even in the full list. So
yeah,
I don't know. My goal is definitely top six.
Yep.
I want to do my best, obviously. Push the boat out because it's the highest level you can go in powerlifting. It's like the Olympics of powerlifting. So if I do go, like, I'm not going to shy away. I'm going to go there and just send it.
Yeah, damn, that would have been really awesome. And this is your last year of junior, so I guess obviously the world meet is probably not going to happen, right? This year.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, like you said, but if it doesn't happen, we still have regionals here, nationals, and then we have another competition called the Raw Cup, so it's your local regional comp again. So I'll have 3 opportunities to hit a high number and set some, I guess, records or total,
Yeah. I think we talked about this a little bit before as well. You have bigger guys in New Zealand. Like, New Zealanders seem to be very, like, big and, compared to Japanese people, we're kind of like, we do have a small figure. What would be, like, competitive? Because in Japan, I think the most competitive weight class is 74 and 83. Can you say the same for New Zealand as well?
So I think I said the same last time. In my opinion, New Zealand and worldwide, the 105s is the most competitive class. And the reason why I say that is in New Zealand, I'll start with the 83s. We've already got Brett Gibbs. No one's going to touch him. So he's your one guy that's going to win, right? Then you've got the 93s. There's a guy named Jamie King. He's won it, I don't know how many times, nationals, but he's quite far away. Not many people will reach him. And if people were to reach him, it'll be like one to two people that'll catch him, right? And same with the 74s, you've already got a few lifters that are already up there. So the 105s last year, I had to pull my last deadlift to win. Otherwise, it could have been, there was 3 people fighting for that first spot, and then there was probably 5 to 6 people fighting for a podium in general.
Damn.
So New Zealand-wise, the 105s is pretty competitive because there is no outright winner. Anyone can win on the day, If I had missed that last squat, that would have changed the game completely because the subtotal was what helped me. Do you know what I mean? Because at nationals, I deadlifted 290 kilos, which was probably one of the lowest deadlifts out of everyone else. We had guys like Sean Winters, Warren, who were deadlifting 320 plus or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I really had to get I had to go 9 for 9 to win that competition. If I didn't go 9 for 9, these like pull for the win deadlifters would have come in and just, taken me out. So in that perspective, yes, I think 105s New Zealand-wise would be one of the most competitive. Worldwide, I watched, if you follow King of Lifts on Instagram, they've been posting a few 105, powerlifters coming in, all around probably 880 total to 900 total. Now, if you look at USA, you've got guys that are like, Ashton, you've got Bryce Lewis, I think. You've got those guys that are just, up near 900 total. So you've got almost like, in the world, you've got about 10 guys that are close to 900, that could all go to worlds and eventually become a champion. Whereas if you look at the 83 kilo class worldwide, you've got Sean Noriega, you've got Brett Gibb, and you've got Russ. Those are your 3. Not many other people are going to catch them. So it's not that competitive. It's only competitive within 3 people. Whereas the 105s, you've got 10 people that could win.
So I think what you're saying is, to sum it up, like in the 93 kilo class, they might have more competitors competing in that weight class, but that does not mean that it is the most competitive weight class because, for example, other weight classes such as 105, like you mentioned, have a lot more competitors aiming for that, and they're all close, the totals. So I guess that makes sense in that way as well. Okay, so just move on to the next question. Would you like, because I know that Japan is like heavily influenced by the American lifting scene. Like we just got RPE coming in and stuff like that, and programming, online coaching and stuff like that. Do you think like New Zealand is heavily influenced by the US lifting scene, or do you think it has its own special way of doing things?
Yeah, I think New Zealand as well is heavily influenced by what, you know, the American programming is. So like myself, I train 5 days a week. We use the RPE. I think it's pretty known nationally around New Zealand that everyone uses RPE. We also get given specific numbers to hit as well. So we do a ratio of given numbers plus RPEs. And RPEs are great, you know, they're a great way to monitor your fatigue and see where you're at. So you can always adjust for accordingly next week in that. And that's what I like. And the programming we do is weekly programming. So my coach will look at how the first week went according to the RPEs. And then if we're going to go up an RPE next week. And that, so it's a great way of monitoring your level and where you're at.
And you didn't like struggle with getting used to using RPE and stuff like that? Because I definitely did. So.
I don't know, don't quote me on this, but what I got told was you look at the RPE scale, like if it's RPE 9, then you've got one more rep in the tank. If it's an RPE 8, you've got, you know, so you'll have two more reps in the tank. So if it's, you know, you got to do 5 reps for an RPE 8, that means you do 5 reps, but you could have done 7 reps. That's how I look at it. And, well, I'm not too sure how true that is, but or there's another one that I found funny. It was like a meme on Instagram. I didn't share this last time. But someone made an RPE chart, and it was like Ronnie Coleman next to it. And it was like RPE 1 to 6, lightweight, baby. And then it was like RPE 7 to 8 was like, yeah, buddy. and then like 9 to 10 was some other quote that he says. And it was the funniest thing I've probably seen.
Damn. I reckon, maybe this is like a stupid question. Maybe, do you think bodybuilders can use RPE as well?
Depends on what they're wanting to achieve, I guess. You know, bodybuilders just do hypertrophy and that, and even if they
start implementing that.
What are they going to do? Like a
dumbbell?
Are they going to do like back squats for 20 reps and RPE? Like that, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a bodybuilder, so I can't comment on that.
That'll be very, very interesting to see. Okay, I didn't ask this last time. What are some famous coaches in New Zealand?
So the two off the top of my head, we have Jason Clark, who's my coach, and he has one of the biggest teams in New Zealand. He's pretty well known. We have John Strachan. He's the other coach. They both live in Auckland.
Okay.
He's the coach for Team Get Strength, and he's a really good coach. He's coached a few of the best athletes in New Zealand, like Evie Corrigan. He coached her.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. So those two off the top of my dome are the well-known ones. I'm sure there are many other coaches, but they're the two I can think of.
Okay. And what would you say your coach, what is his approach to lifting? Like, obviously he uses RPE and stuff. How does he program, do you think?
The thing I like about Jason is that his weekly programming, and I get a weekly video response as well. So, so I'll film all my lifting, and then I'll send him I'll make like one big video edit and then send it to him, and he'll film himself and talk over it and say, you know, you've done this really well, you've done that really well, maybe you can change something like that up. And then he's monitoring my fatigue to make sure that, you know, we can go up next week. And the difference between him and other coaching, where someone might give you a 6-week program and say, hey, come back to me after 6 weeks and let me know how you've gone. The problem I have with that is, say you get a 6-week program and your first week you really struggled, but then on the second week on the paper it says you're meant to go up 5 kilos. If you really struggled on your first week, how are you going to go up 5 kilos the next week when you lift? You can't. So you're not monitoring fatigue at all. when it comes to that. And I've had programs like that where I've just been given a piece of paper, come back to me in 6 weeks and tell me how you go, you know. And it doesn't work, because if you're going up 5 weeks in week 2, then week 3 you're going up 5 kgs again, you're going to struggle. So the good thing about Jason is, I'm pretty sure it's pretty common now that every other coach is doing it, but he's monitoring it, he's giving you good feedback, video reviews, he's telling you what's working for you. So for me, that gives me the confidence to keep going up. You know, you've got that coach backing you in that. And I think that's why he's probably got one of the biggest teams in New Zealand, you know.
And also you have like an interesting work schedule. Like, it's not a 9 to 5 job, right? Like you said. So your fatigue levels must be not very, like, it's probably not as stable, right? That's my assumption anyway.
Yeah, it's not ideal that I'm working shift work. So I work 24 hours. So we've got 3 8-hour shifts in a day, you know, and some of the hard ones for me are night shifts. So where I work 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. and then have to go to sleep during the day and then wake up and train. So take a toll on the body and mentally as well. Like, sometimes you want to wake up and you go, man, I don't really want to train because I'm so tired. But, you know, it has to be done, and it's a mental thing, you know. You just go, man, we got to wake up and lift some weight today, you know.
And the last time we recorded that it doesn't even feel, even if you are very tired from your work, it doesn't feel like an obligation for you to walk into the gym. And
no, I love it. I do it for a reason, you know. And you know, the funny thing is, I went back on our chat, and the first time you messaged me was you replied to my meme that I put up, and it was like, oh, when you get paid to work and you don't want to do anything, it was like, my back, oh, why am I lifting this heavy weight? And then the other meme was like, oh, when you pay the gym to go lift weights, and you're like, lightweight, let's go, and all that. And I was just like, man, that's so true. That is so true. You know, you pay the gym to go lift heavy, but when you're getting paid from your work, you don't want to lift heavy. And I was like, that is so true, because I look forward to going to the gym.
Exactly, and that must be also because of the people that you are that's surrounding you as well, like people who go to the gym. Because I know you get along with a lot of people in the gym, and that must be one of the factors that you enjoy it so much.
Well, yes, it's the only time, you know, you can socialize during the weekdays. You know, you go to your work, you do what you got to do, and then you look forward to going to the gym and seeing all your friends there, and you have a yarn. And it's not, you know, people don't just come to the gym to just train. They come there to socialise, talk to people. You know, at our gym, we've got a cafe and like a seating area at the front of the gym. So if you want to chill out and relax before you go and train, you can go and, you know, talk to your coaches, or you can go talk to your personal trainers. And it's so cool. And that's the sort of vibe I like, you know. It's like a second home. It's a nice, sweet community we've got going. And everyone knows everyone.
And I feel like, because, you know, people ask a lot about what motivates you kind of thing, right? And I think a lot of athletes struggle to answer, elite athletes struggle to answer that, because they don't need some sort of stimulus to keep them going into the gym. I also don't see that with you. Like, it sounds like you really do like going in there all the time, and you know, you don't need someone to, you know, you don't need a video to tell you, to motivate you and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the reasons why you are a very strong lifter as well.
But I mean, everyone's got a reason why they're going to go train as well at the end of the day, you know. The reason could be to get big for a sport, or it could be, you know, to become world champion. Everyone has a reason. And, you know, at the time when I first started, obviously it was just to get big for rugby. But now it's, you know, I want to be that world champion. I want to be number one day, you know. I want to go back to back as a national champion. So I'm in the gym. And sometimes when you think of it like that, it can take the fun away. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you got to do, and still try and enjoy it as much as possible, but have fun. So I guess seeing my friends there, seeing my family members training hard, that's the fun side of it.
No, I can definitely see the drive in you. And so your coach, maybe you can, what is his Instagram? So maybe listeners can check him out on his Instagram or. Let me just quickly find it, because I always forget. Jason. So it's Jason Clark _PPS. So I'll spell that. It's JASONVCLARKE _PPS.
So he's the go-to man. If you've got any questions, go ask him. And yeah.
Okay, and what is your future goal in regards to powerlifting?
Well, we spoke earlier before, and I don't know if I'll go to Worlds now. So obviously this year, my biggest goal was to represent New Zealand at the highest stage of powerlifting, which was Worlds. But it's seemingly unlikely that it's going to happen. So the goal now, I think, would be to still focus, to still act like I'm going to go to Worlds or lift something heavy, but focusing on nationals to be the main, back to back. That's the biggest goal. And I really want to beat Andy, which is he's the past champion, and he's such a strong lifter. He squats 315 kilos. He's a Masters 1. So if I can beat him, that'll be a dream come true, I guess.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
I'm very, very excited, and that's 765 total. That's a record, right?
Yeah, that's currently the 105 junior NZ record.
Right.
So I've got the record for the squat, the bench, and the total. So not quite the deadlift. I'm 15 kilos away from the deadlift one, but hopefully this year we can do it at nationals and get all the records. But like I said last time, and I speak to a lot of people about it, records don't mean anything because they can always get broken. There could be in 5 years' time, or even next year, someone could come in the 105 junior and break it all, and it's going to happen. It's like the 500 kilo deadlift that Eddie Hall said no one was going to break. It got broken. So when I first started powerlifting, man, that's all I cared about: records. But then I had the right people saying, we don't worry about records. You worry about your total, and if you get a medal, that no one can take my national championship away from me last year. Do you know what I mean? But they can take all the records. So now I just focus about try podium, and that's where my mentality is at when it comes to powerlifting now.
No, I think it's awesome because I know a lot of lifters do get attached to a lot of numbers, but they forget that, the progress is a lot about long-term progress, and thinking about numbers is not exactly the optimum way to go. Yeah. Okay, so last question. Where can people reach you online?
So follow my TikTok, the Japanese Hulk, and that's it.
I want to get TikTok, but I don't know what to post if I get TikTok.
I don't know. It's just the trend going on. I like TikTok. People are like, "Oh, what's your Instagram?" But Instagram's cool, but TikTok's just the meme. So it's fun.
I was looking at your TikTok last night, actually, and the bench one was really funny.
Yeah, that one blew up. Hey, yeah, they got like 50k views. So,
damn.
Yeah.
And you got how many followers do you have? Is it followers?
I don't know. TikTok's got a funny algorithm, I think. You just blow up out of nowhere. Whereas Instagram, it's you don't blow up as much. On TikTok, I've got close to coming up to 1,800 followers, which is more than my Instagram.
I'm jealous.
But if you blow up and make one video, you're likely to get all these followers coming along. Like my brother blew up and he's almost got 500,000 views on his deadlift video that he put up.
Well, what's his deadlift? Is it just a deadlift video, or is it?
It's like him doing a deadlift, and this kid behind him is reacting with a real funny face, wow, he does a funniest face, and then my brother zooms in on his face, and then people like that sort of stuff.
I need to check that out. What is his TikTok?
So follow my brother, Mahaki Koopu. So I'll quickly plug him in. His TikTok is the Black Asian 24. The Black Asian 24. That's his TikTok. And if you want to follow him on his Instagram, it's squat.sensei on Instagram.
Okay.
And he's an up and coming 83 kilo lifter, still a junior. Man, he's got a good future, so we'll see where he is there. And I forgot to shouldn't say. I forgot to plug him last time because he goes, "Oh, you didn't plug me." Oh. He's the one that pushed me. We started in the gym together, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today where I'm at, a champion, because I remember start of 2019 into 2018, his squats were 10 kilos below me, and I'll be like, damn, by body weight, pound for pound, he's always stronger. So he pushed me to put my weight up, and we just pushed each other and started growing. And I think that's that brother spirit of like pushing each other. It's like a game, you've got to, who's going to be the most alpha. And that's where we're at. So he's strong, and now he's always lifting with me currently in this virus. He's living with me, and yeah,
because I always see you guys training together, so I thought like, oh, they must be really good friends. So then I didn't know you guys no, I will definitely link his Instagram and TikTok on the description as well. But what is your Instagram? You haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay. So it's at Maui Asian _ Maui Asian. Sorry. Oh my god. It's Maui _ Asian. So it's MAORI _ ASIAN.
Okay, and what kind of contents do you put up?
Literally just powerlifting stuff. A lot of people say, oh, you should post some personal stuff and, just photos of that. But I'm like, I don't know. For me, it's just like an album of my highlights of my lifting. I do have a second Instagram, but that's just little random stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'll link that as well. Okay, thank you for making the time to do this.
No worries. We were in a rush, but it had to be done because the first one had really bad audio. Yeah. And hopefully I was sort of screaming in this one, so you can hear me a lot better. Yeah, I did put a mic on this time.
Yeah, so I'm sure it is coming through a lot better. Awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so I'll catch up with you later. Thank you so much.
Alright. Peace. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
Okay, I really hope you were able to learn something from this episode. If you like listening to us, please leave a review on the platform you're listening on. Follow us on social media, or maybe even share it with your friends online. That would be very helpful. If you have any suggestions on what guests to have on the show, feel free to DM me also. Anyways, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you guys next week.